Hello viewer, hope the day is treating you right. We truly are here at the very end of chapter 2, as confirmed by the dev himself. So I actually did all I could, upgraded whatever I could, actually went back to the Stoneware Shield, because it is just slightly better all around. Don't think I need to deal with knockback all that much, but we'll see. Going with the antique clothing and the History Keeper sandals. Honestly, these sandals I bought at the very beginning of the game, and it has been just disproportionately useful compared to all the other ones. I don't think I ever changed it. And I also went with everything that would give me more health. Something tells me I am definitely going to need every single bit of health. So, with all that said, there is nothing left for us but to move forward. At last, the elevator came into sight. My heart was pounding. I produced the lever and held it in my shaking hands. If this doesn't work... I shook my head, pushing the thought aside. So you went back and looked at the lever long enough to sketch it. So maybe if the stone one doesn't work, you could just go back to that one and break it off, considering that the elevator itself is non-functional. Maybe. Or maybe there's an inner mechanism. You can try prying the whole thing apart and see how it works. Maybe. I don't think Orem is mechanically inclined like that. To think about the nuances of machines. I approached the raised panel just outside the small elevator chamber. However, something caught my eye. The elevator door. It was closed. That's odd. I recalled leaving it open. What does it matter? No, I think it very much matters. Anything that happens without your input here is cause for concern, if not alarm. I have far more important things to worry about. And of course, you came here with nothing but tunnel vision. So that's not gonna end well. Studying the sketch I'd made of the other elevator, I carefully inserted the lever into its slot within the panel. There were bits of rusted metal that fell out as I did so. The remains of the old lever, I take it. But to my elation and relief, it fit. I had my breath and slowly pulled the lever towards myself. There was a sharp metallic sound, followed by a low humming. Oh, well, you know, it actually worked. And suddenly, small lights embedded within the panel flickered to life. It's working. I yelled out in celebration, clenching my fist. Now, if I can just figure out how to operate this. I stepped eagerly towards the elevator door and pulled it open. The door swung wide, and there was a person standing inside. Okay, what the fuck now? Ah, not person. No, not a person. It's an ancestor. It was crouched down to fit within the small elevator chamber, but still towered over my head. Its face... It was so... I shivered. Yeah, pretty weird. All the other ancestors have been somewhat anatomically accurate, animal-based. But this one is quite abstract, but still vaguely bird-like. Oh goodness. It spoke. Its voice was eerily pleasant. What a relief. Eerily pleasant. Maybe it was a kind that was designed to interact with humans. That's probably it. I can't believe I finally caught up to you, little one. Oh, you've been stalking us. Well, we have been backtracking quite a lot. Don't actually remember anything changing in between runs. Maybe you're just very good at staying quiet. I was so afraid I would lose track of you. Immediately I leapt backward, unsheathing my weapon. I won't fall for it again. I held out my weapon threateningly. What do you want with me, ancestor? I yelled defiantly. How did you know that I would come here? The ancestor wrapped its long fingers around the doorway and pulled its lithe body through. I stepped back further away to compensate. There's no need to be afraid, little one, it said tenderly. I am a custodian. A custodian of humans. Okay. Wait. That's a specific word choice. Why were humans in custody, and who put them there? Possible AI uprising? No, but that would just mean they would kill all humans. Well, apparently something or someone decided that humans needed to be kept. It made a sweeping gesture with its hand. Caring for the children of this stratum is my responsibility, of course. As for how? Wait, this stratum. Does that mean that every single stratum had its own custodian? We just never saw any signs of anyone. Oh, right at the end we're just getting bombarded with more questions, huh? That was quite a stroke of luck indeed. When you passed through the terminal of Stratum 1345, I was alerted through the old network of a gene infraction. I couldn't believe my good fortune. A child with under 3% purity left within the strata. I don't have time for this. I'm not a child, I said angrily. I opened my mouth to say more, then stopped. Something occurred to me then. It's been looking for me. The night I returned after the attack, all of the other terminals, something killed them. Oh yeah, there was that. I assume they just shut down, or maybe relocated their consciousness. That is strange. Did you do that, ancestor? The custodian turned its head to the side curiously. Oh no, it said. I was surprised to see them deactivate as well. Okay, so you're specifically saying deactivate, and not die or whatever. So maybe they actually did it voluntarily. An administrator-level command came through the network shortly after the infraction, ordering all the terminals to terminate their logical cores. Okay, so there is still something out there that wants RM to succeed. I'm having a really bad feeling about this. I've not seen anything like it for quite some time. Maybe you could tell us the last time this happened, so we could get some context. I didn't know what to say. Then who What is this network? I asked, my weapon dipping down slightly. The custodian put a finger to its chin, as if deep in thought. The gesture was uncannily human. It might be difficult for you to understand, child, but it's something that connects us machines together. Those that are able to physically interface with it, that is. It lets us share information. I stared at the custodian blankly. Very few machines can do such a thing in the stratum. Oh yes, that's to be expected here. At this distance from the surface. So few humans even remembered what the network was to begin with. Remembered, you say? So it does sound like some other human civilization built this place some time ago, and whatever humans Aram is actually trailing were a different group that came after them. So much world building, and we are still limited to the scope of this one island. I imagine everything would immediately make sense if we were somehow able to zoom out and see the wider world. But of course, we are not capable of doing that. So all we have is questions. It made a noise, almost like laughter. Oh, but it's no matter now. I've been following you for many days now, little one. And now that I've found you, I can resume my proper duties once again. I let my weapon fall to my side. At least, this one is harmless. I'm sorry, ancestor, I said. Oh, that's a big one. And its neck is weirdly distorted. Like, what were you supposed to do with that neck, huh? I don't have time to keep speaking. I need to use that elevator behind you. To go out of here, to leave this place. The custodian turned to look at the elevator, and then turned to look back at me. Out? It said, sounding confused. But this one doesn't go up, little one. Who knows where it might take you? But weren't you inside of it? Were you actually just standing in there the entire time, waiting for Aram to get back? I suppose that is one way, to make sure you don't miss him. Who knows what's become of it? Are you talking about the elevator, or the destination? Also, the idea of a one-way elevator makes me feel like that is only for emergencies. In which case, it should be labeled clearly, I think. So, you're either lying, which we haven't actually witnessed ancestors do, or you don't know it, which is a possibility. Well, anyway. I nodded. Yes, I said wearily. I don't want to go up. That's the way I came. The humans that used to be here, they used it to go far away, didn't they? I began walking towards the elevator once again. Just as I was about to step over the threshold, the custodian put its arm out in front of the doorway, physically blocking me. I looked at it, irritated. I'm not certain, the custodian said, sounding distressed. But you really shouldn't, little one. It's not safe. This ancestor is strange. I tried ducking under its arm, but it quickly moved to intercept me. I stumbled back, now angry. "What are you?" I began. "Stop that. Leave me alone, okay? I'll be perfectly fine." The custodian didn't budge. "Oh, please," it pleaded. "It's only a matter of your safety, child. So few of the machines left are like myself. So many of them will be hostile to your kind. You'll be much safer if you stay with me." I step back. Clearly, this isn't working. I'll make up an excuse to leave and return in a few hours. By then, perhaps it will have gone. I turned and headed for the door. "Very well," I said, trying to sound as disinterested as possible. "I hear you. I'll find another way." Just as I was within a few feet of the exit, there was a loud sound of metal scraping against stone. And in a blur of motion, suddenly the custodian was standing in front of me once again, blocking the exit door with its body. I felt my heart race. Oh, it's fast. Oh, and it looks even creepier from this angle. "You were going to run away from me, weren't you?" it said tenderly. "Don't be afraid, little one. I'm here to keep you safe." God above. I lifted my weapon once more, pointing it at the custodian. Safe from what? Since you don't have any weapons, you are clearly not capable of defending them from the combat-type ancestors, so I don't know. Or is this that kind of situation, where the central AI became self-aware and decided that humans needed to be kept safe from themselves, or something like that? Yeah, clearly, this one is just trying to keep us, to obey its original programming. "Enough of this," I said severely. "If you won't let me use the elevator, I'll kill you, ancestor. I won't hesitate." The custodian made a strange low noise and then began extending its arms towards me. I raced backwards to avoid its grasp. "Oh, please," it said, its voice raising in volume. Oh, this guy's big when his neck is fully extended. Almost feels like it was supposed to be looking over people. Very curious. Please. Please don't leave me. Don't leave me alone." It made another attempt to grab me with its long arms, and I dodged again. It began making strange, grating, metallic noises, almost like the wailing and sobbing of a child. Okay, now you're just making me sad. Yeah, that's kinda sounding like what would happen to a caretaker AI that got self-aware just in time to make all the humans disappear, and then it is no longer able to follow its programming. Well, congratulations, Rage for Dragons. You created depressed AI. "I failed my duties," it cried. "Everyone's left the strata behind. I've no one to care for. Yeah, this is just sad. And they left the poor thing alone for who knows how long. It's curious that it couldn't just follow them. Like something is still tethering it to this stratum. I need you." I backed up until I couldn't anymore, back pressed against the elevator. The custodian crept closer and closer, and I was seconds from being within range of its arms again. Dude, I think it actually just wants to hug you. Like it's just so alone and desperate. Kinda like you in a way. If it grabs me, I'm dead. No, I think you're not. It would probably just keep you close to itself and just wander off somewhere. Right, if it's a custodian, then it would be aware that humans need food and water, right? So maybe it would actually know of at least one habitation place that is mostly intact. Maybe it would take you there. It would effectively make you a prisoner, I think. Because at this point it doesn't care about anything other than you, the only human it can use to obey its programming. So yeah, if you were to go along with it, you possibly could gain more knowledge. And when you get tired of it, you could just kill it and move on. But RM doesn't have that kind of time, so I think I know where this is going. I need you, child. Don't leave me. Don't leave. I grimaced, knowing already what I had to do. I have no other choice. Once again, I have no choice but to fight. No. And now I don't actually want to. Oh, and all it wants to do is grab us. It's not even trying to hurt us. Okay. I hate concussion so much. Yikes. Okay, one more turn of this, and then we'll be free. Okay. Oh, this is pretty hard, actually. So you're the loyal custodian. But what exactly are you loyal to? Because if you were loyal to humans, then you might actually listen to what I say. Ouch. Yikes. And you can still hear its cries in the background. I think it's not actually part of the soundtrack. I really wish it hadn't come to this. That we could actually learn stuff. Because clearly he doesn't want to kill us. Ouch. Yeah, suspected as much. Well then. We just have to get laceration. What do I? Okay, I have 5 green powders. Better than nothing. Huh. Yeah, okay, we're gonna switch to carpet maker's sandals. And this should be the best defense that I can manage at this point. Okay, let's see about that. I drew long labored breaths, standing in the remains of the custodian. What a waste. Yeah, at least Aram understands. This really shouldn't have happened. A waste of my damn time. Well, okay. From your perspective, there's also that. My body screamed at me to rest, but I was unable to shake the image of Canary from my mind. The miserable, twisted expression he wore. Prava wasting away on the street. When I thought of these things, I forced myself to move. I turned and stumbled to the elevator. The lights of the interior panel were lit like the one outside, and I stared at it blankly, unsure what to do. I began poking and prodding the surface desperately, hoping I might accidentally find what I needed. Come on. Please. This can't have been a waste. I have nothing yet. Nothing. At last I heard the resonant metallic noise, and the floor shook beneath me. The door slid closed by itself, and after a moment, as I stood in silence, heart pounding, it began to move. So wait. The custodian said this elevator only goes down. I imagine that was actually a lie, to make him reconsider. But that would mean that some of the speaking ancestors are actually self-aware enough to lie. Or maybe it was unique as a custodian. I guess we will never know. Or maybe we could go and ask the scout. It should know at least a thing or two about the types, right? Maybe. The feeling of motion was like nothing I'd ever experienced on the island before. It was constant, as if I were slowly falling. And you do have experience with that. Minutes passed, and I finally decided to sit, unsure how long it might take. Wow. This shot, right here, might actually be the loneliest Aram has ever looked. Just completely hopeless inside an elevator. Wow, really great art direction. It was quiet and still, other than the gentle hum of the elevator as it moved. There was no sound at all beyond my breath. All the while as I sat, I imagined the world beyond the well that was waiting for me. The place I'd been searching for. There were fertile fields in all directions, stretching far over the horizon. No ocean, just land bathed in sunlight. So much land that we could grow enough food for 10,000 people. No, dude, I think you should stop imagining this. There's no way the reality is going to be this convenient. Whatever is going to be at the end of this, it's going to hurt you. Please stop. There would be no ancestors or ration lines. No hunger at all. No hurt. No need. No well. I imagined Canary and Prava, smiling and laughing, together again. I watched my life play out before my eyes. Marrying Sachita, living with her, visiting my mother and father with children of my own. I wanted to cry. Everything would go back to how it was. Yeah, and that's the thing really, isn't it? That was never how it was. But back then, you just couldn't see it. this horrible present would become an unpleasant past. A memory of wounds we shared. Oh, chapter title drop. But never dwelled on. So desperately I wanted that word, that you ignored the real one. Yeah, that's gonna come back to bite you, I just know it. I wanted to give it to everyone. I needed to see it. At last, with a low echoing metallic reverberation, the elevator slowly came to a stop. I think the problem here that started your whole obsession thing wasn't really that you wanted the perfect world. You kinda convinced yourself that you had to be the one to give it to the people. I think that is what has been driving Aram this whole time. And I also do not 100% believe that it was his own idea. We don't actually know how all these ancestors work. And if there have been some that were in charge of dealing with humans, like the custodian, who knows, maybe there were some that could do some subliminal messaging, that kind of stuff. So yeah, I still hold on to my idea that somehow this whole hero business has been an outside influence on Aram. But we shall see. There has to come a time when he just can't continue. Maybe then we'll see if those thoughts cease to be, or they double down, and he might feel weird about it. I stood. My heart was beating out of my chest. My journey. All this pain I've endured. It's finally over. Okay, according to who? No one ever told you what is beyond this elevator. The door slid open, slowly. And I stepped out, ready to feel the sun on my face. And you're not even understanding the contradiction and the impossibility of that. You're going down. How the fuck do you feel the sun? And this is all just the thing you convinced yourself. And now the shoe is going to drop and hit you in the head, huh? I stood on a small platform, and stretched before me was a great settlement. Whoa. Whoa. Oh shit, that's big. It's an actual modern metropolis, with skyscrapers that go the other way from the looks of it. Oh, this is cool. There's some buildings that go up. Yeah, it's pretty much just a modern cityscape, but magnified. Pretty cool. But also retaining that same blocky shape. Doesn't even look to have many of those arches that were in the stratum that we just came from. So yeah, that place was truly partitioned for some specific reason. Very interesting. But yeah, I don't know what you were expecting. Well, this couldn't have been built by the people who did the insurrection, because they were kind of trapped in that partition strata. So what were they really? Like an offshoot of civilization? Some people kept there for a specific purpose. Because you look at this one right here, and you can tell that this was the majority of the civilization. But if it keeps getting bigger and bigger, then it's like every single generation, and the one before it even, would migrate as one to the next place. Which you wouldn't actually need to do, because really, what kind of resources would you be exhausting down here? Oh, I'm just full of questions. Ah, so good. Greater than the one I knew by 1,000 times. Yeah, good fucking luck going through this. In all directions, I could see nothing but buildings, spires, bridges, doors and windows. Densely knit and lying bathed in darkness for miles. There was no light. Wait, if there's no light, then how can you see it? No sun. Oh, that's what you mean. Only dark. I fell to my knees, clutching my head in my hands. The sight of it was like a punch to the stomach. Gone instantly were my childish daydreams of sun and sky. Yeah, that's why I told you to stop imagining it. Replaced with the overwhelming oppression of empty space, silence, and darkness. I laughed. I laughed out loud, and it echoed all around me. The well. It never ends, does it? Well, not in your lifetime, I guess. I stepped out of the elevator and saw the remains of the custodian lying sprawled about on the floor where I'd left it. And now you have to come back up, head down, and look at the consequences of your actions. The custodian might have had some answers, and you broke it because it was standing in your way. So yeah, hooray for RM, I guess. The sight of it filled me with an aching rage that made my head hurt. I clenched my fists and grit my teeth. Yeah, that's what I call incompetent rage. I do have that myself from time to time. It's just the whole frustration. Seeing its broken torso lying on the ground to my right. I kicked it as hard as I possibly could, shouting in miserable anger. Yeah, have to let it out. It wasn't enough. Yeah, he's just gonna rage for a little while, don't mind him. I threw off my weapon and shield, which clattered loudly to the floor. I tore my bag from my shoulders, throwing that too, spilling its contents about. And I screamed. When I had finished, I sat quietly on the floor, surrounded by the mess I'd made. So much effort. So much pain. I tried. So hard. I thought that God was guiding me. And now look. Look at what I have to show for all of this. All this time I spent underground, chasing a ridiculous dream. I could feel tears streaking down my face. Prava was right. I've been ignoring them. My friends. Ignoring their suffering while I play hero down here in the dark. I see now. There's nothing here. There never was. It's time. Time for me to give this up. Yeah, this really made all of his plans crumble into dust, huh? Like maybe there could have been some answers if he just kept looking, but really, the time crunch of the famine and the immediate suffering of his friends, he really just wanted all of it to be done. and just seeing the scale of everything in the well. Yeah, that just crumbled his resolve. Don't really blame the guy. But really, what can you do? I think at this point, maybe the best thing for him to do was to go back, maybe talk with his parents, and then together with his parents, they would go to the Ashan, and then he would tell them every goddamn thing that he learned down there. Who knows, maybe some of them were already known by the Ashan. But still, he actually made it pretty far. So maybe if they could make something like a camp down there, there could be a couple of people that were tasked with scouting the whole place out. I don't know. Maybe the Ashan could even lift the ban just for those select few people. And I suppose there's also the fact that when this whole famine business started, the Ashan just told everyone to follow the rules and they'll be fine. But we kinda don't know how the last famine ended. We should ask Aram's parents about that. Or maybe even the elder die maker. She's on pretty good terms with us. Maybe she would tell us. There's so many things Aram would have known if he just bothered to ask people and not be so afraid of letting others know what he's been up to. I mean, sure, it was a taboo, but one would argue that these are extenuating circumstances. Well, anyway, the damage has been done. What else is going to happen here? I walked slowly through the lantern-lit streets. The others had gone ahead. And to Tala, I hadn't said a single word. Yeah. You went down saying that you're going to have answers. Truly a day for defeats. The night air was cold and quiet. As I walked, I watched my surroundings as they passed by. I admired the buildings, the homes and workshops, the island on which I'd grown up. It's where I'm meant to be, not down there. But still something was drawing you down there. Maybe something even like a collective memory of the people of old that actually were living there, or something, I don't know. There is still a possibility that all the people in the settlement are actually descendants of maybe the insurgents that broke out of the partition stratum and just went up, then eventually made their way to the surface, I don't know. Because there is definitely some sort of connection between people and the well. We just never found out exactly what. Yeah, if they really wanted to know, I think Aram has that one card reader. If the Ashan were smart people, maybe they would send some people down to gather all the unbroken cards, and then they would go through everything. I don't know. It's not really about the settlement. This has just been the personal story of Aram. And it does not look like it is ending well. I recalled my old dream, becoming a journeyman, which you already are, playing my part, which you already have. All those things I'd wanted so badly as a child. Why was I so quick to dismiss them? Maybe what my father said to me back then, after all of this, it was true. If I just played my part as it was laid out for me, things would get better. I don't know. I think better would be a relative term in that. It's kinda like how, towards the end of Persona 3, when you know that the world is going to end, you have the option of just wiping your memory and living the rest of your days out in blissful ignorance. I think that would have been kinda like what you're saying. If you just play your part, that everything will still happen. You just don't know it. Maybe it would have been for the best. I don't know. Eventually. Suddenly, someone called my name. Oh, I see a bun. Is that Prava? That's kind of an ominous shot. Both of them are in shadow. Kinda feels like a showdown. That can be it, right? I looked up and saw a figure standing in the street ahead of me. Is that Prava? She stood, Minaj pulled tightly around herself. Prava? I called out in return, surprised to see her up and about. I took a few steps forward. As I came close, I got a better look at her face. Just as before. She looked terrible. Her eyes shifted about nervously. Her hair was unkempt, and her complexion was pale. Arem, she called out again. Her voice was cold, but it was more coherent than it had been in days. I need to ask you something. I want you to be honest. Do you consider us friends? Where are you going with this, Prava? I looked at her, puzzled. Yes, I said emphatically. Yes, of course. Prava lowered her eyes, seeming lost in thought. Yes, she said slowly. I already knew that's what you would say. I believe you, Arem. I believe that you think it's true. But I've realized something recently. I've been lying to myself for a long time. Denying the obvious. Yeah, there were several things in your life, girl, that you have been lying about. I never saw it that way. Oh, is that because you only had eyes for Kanari, and Arem was just the friend of the friend? The years we've spent together, I know now that I only stuck around for him. Kinda. For Kanari. Not for you. Not for Sachita. Only him and no one else. Well, at least you're honest with yourself about it. That should count for something, right? I began walking towards her, shaking my head. No, Prava, I said, raising my voice. That's not true. I shook my head. I've been a terrible friend. I've been so distracted. So focused on the well that I've cut everything else out. You're not alone, Prava. Sachi and I. We both care about you. Kanari does too. He just... Oh? Prava said quietly, still looking down. I came within arm's reach, stopping. Okay, now think about the next thing you're gonna say, Arem. Because if those two have actually talked when you weren't listening, that you might be contradicting something. And then she would actually have a comeback that you don't actually understand any of your friends. I'm going to help you through this, Prava, I said sincerely. I'll help you fix things with him. I promise. Now, I don't know if you still remember my dude. But she basically blackmailed you into doing that for the past however many weeks. So you promising this does not actually sound as sincere as you might think it does. Anything I can do, because I'm done with the well. I'm not going back down. Never again. Famous last words. Watch chapter 3 start with him going down the well again. I reached out and put a hand on her shoulder. Prava seemed to go still at my touch. Huh. Weird, come to think of it. Has anyone touched Prava, really? Like Sachi sometimes does. Maybe Kanari in the flashbacks. But I don't think Arem and Prava. At least not that I can remember. Anyway. Then, she said after a long moment, I want you to do something for me, Arem. One more request. She gestured for me to come closer. I leaned in to listen, and her arm darted out from under her minash. Ah boy, she lost it. She is gonna kill us. Yep. Immediately, the upper right side of my body erupted into pain. I cried out, stumbling backward. Prava fell forward with me. Yeah, she kinda did accuse you, at least once, of being the one to pull Kanari away from her. It looks like she finally can't take it anymore. Yikes. Just when you think Arem's day can't get any worse. Tearing my eyes down to look, I saw a sight that made my blood run cold. There was a large piece of ceramic piercing my ribs, sharp and such that it acted as a makeshift knife. Oh goddamn. So, you're telling me that the whole flashback bit about her self-harming was actually foreshadowing? Because it showed that she actually knows how to make rocks and ceramics that are shaped like knives. Wow. Awesome. And gruesome. Still, Prava held tightly onto the other end, blood seeping from the wound and onto her shaking hands. I stared at her, the shock rendering me utterly speechless. And on the girl's filthy pale face was a look of utter and complete desperation. You have to die, Arem, she cried. My instincts kicked in, and I shoved her violently with both of my hands, unsure what else to do. She fell backward onto the ground, grunting in pain. Her tight grip on the improvised blade pulled it painfully from my side. Clutching the bleeding wound, I reeled backward, gasping for air. Oh god. The puncture was mere inches below where my stitches had been. Realizing that, the desperate thought in my mind that somehow this was an accident, a misunderstanding somehow. It was gone, replaced with abject dread. Yep, she's the one that stitched you together. She knows all your weak points. She'd known exactly where she was stabbing. This was planned. Prava, I cried out, terrified. What are you? Already she was on her feet again, running towards me. There was a sickening rush of air as she swung the makeshift knife widely. Oh, look at her face. She really doesn't want to do this, but she's so broken, maybe even delusional, that she actually believes that this is the right thing to do. Ah, poor girl. I dodged backward, still clutching my bleeding side. Each step sent waves of splitting pain over my body. Please, stop, I shouted in desperation. Why are you doing this? I backstepped to avoid another swipe, this time aimed at my throat. All the while, Brava's miserable expression remained unchanged. "There's nothing else I can do," she cried out. "You took him away from me." Her swings were erratic and jagged. The pain was making me lightheaded. I think that's more about the blood loss, but whatever. Still her screams continued. "It told me, Aram." "Wait, what?" "It told me if you were dead, it would fix everything." Okay, what the fuck are you talking about now? What is it? What's going on here? I knew that I was losing blood rapidly. I can't keep avoiding her. She intends to. I'd been pushing it out of my head. But the reality, the sickening reality, I could ignore it no longer. She's going to kill me. I need to defend myself. I don't know about that guy. She has been screaming at the top of her lungs, so maybe if you just try to disarm her and hold her off for long enough, eventually some other wound bearers would come, maybe. Like really, you should defend yourself, but I don't think it's going to mean that you have to kill her, you know. With my free hand, I gripped my weapon, but immediately I let it go. No, absolutely not. I dropped it to the street, clattering loudly. I can't kill her. Good choice. Maybe it's gonna end up killing you, but still, good choice. No matter what. Already my blood-stained bricks. Brava walked toward me slowly, panting with her weapon in hand. With nothing else to do, I raised my fists. "Please," I moaned. "Please. Stop this." But already my words meant nothing, dissipating into the night air. Oh fuck. Oh, and the prompts are just so very fucking slow. And we can't even fully defend. Oh, look at it. Oh, this is just so horrible to watch. And even if I defend, it doesn't stop everything, because Aram's losing blood with every action. I think we're gonna die here. Ay. And we have no inventory. Please tell me you only knocked her out. My fist connected with her stomach, hard. Brava crumpled to the ground, heaving and gasping for air. She rolled around, kicking her legs in pain and moaning. I stood above her, panting hard. My knuckles stung, raw and split. Both of our clothes were stained crimson red with the blood from my wound. My hands were shaking. How much more of this does she intend to take? At last, Brava went quiet. She came unsteadily to her knees, I looked up at me, dropping her makeshift weapon to the ground. She said nothing, and only stared. Her face was twisted, a mix of regret, of pain, and at last she grit her teeth and stood, running desperately away from me and into the night. Okay, are we going to follow up on that? Because that needs to have consequences. Okay, we got, as I was told, this is the final midpoint save, and there's not much left after this, so we are going to save and continue. This time around, there was no hiding it, no cover story. I'd gone immediately to the hospice for my wound. Well, yeah, because it wasn't inflicted by an ancestor, so there is literally no point to you hiding it. But what's going to happen to Prava now? I tried to lie, understand that I did. I tried to protect her, but there was nothing to be done. My blood was everywhere. The ceramic blade and her menage had been left behind. It forced my hand. And in the end, it was quickly deduced that I'd been attacked by a fellow child of the sun. The list of suspects became one very quickly. After that night, Prava had gone missing. The search for her began immediately. The island was scoured for any sign of her. But it was 2 days later when she finally turned up. Wow, she must be pretty good at hiding. It's not like this is a big island. A wound bearer came to my room in the hospice. The news was delivered simply, so coldly and quickly. I was unsure if it was a joke. They'd found Prava after all, on the beach at the island's far end. How is she? I'd asked. She was hurt the last time I saw her. She hadn't eaten in days and... No, Aram, it said, cutting me off. He shook his head. They found her body. Ah, I see. She's dead, Aram. They're gathering at the beach to collect her for the cremation. If you can walk, you should go while you can. Well, she was desperate enough to try to kill Aram, so, with her tendency to self-harm, it should be no surprise that she did this. A crowd had gathered on the beach. The roar of the waves seemed deafening as I came close, pushing my way through to the front. There were many, but all of them I knew or recognized, of course. I saw my father, his face grim. My mother and Sachita stood somewhere nearby. I could hear them sobbing quietly against the sound of the sea. Just past the crowd, lying on the sand, was her body. It was turned away from us, being examined by a small group of hospice workers. My father came forward from the edge of the crowd. He knelt to look at her more closely. After a long moment, he turned to the crowd and shook his head slowly. It was strange. All that occupied my mind as I tried not to look at her, lying unmoving on the sand, was the fact that he hadn't yet arrived. Canary was nowhere to be seen. The thought of his reaction kept my eyes glued to the skyline. Out of the corner of my eye, I saw my father take something from her body. It was a notebook. Something seemed to catch his attention, and he flipped it open. It's probably the bookmark. My father stared at what was written inside, and his face went pale. Uh-oh. What did she write? Slowly, as the light of dawn came over the horizon. Oh, so you're just gonna leave it at that, huh? The blood-stained girl sat on the sand, clutching her notebook to her chest. Oh, maybe she wrote something as her final entry. This looks to be her final moments. A nice effect on the sun. All she could do was rock back and forth, sobbing and choking out strained breaths. Her injuries ached, and she felt as though she might collapse from exhaustion. Ah, poor girl. And now without the Minash, we can see her scars. Wait, we can see her scars. Was she topless under the Minash? Or is her kind of clothing the one that leaves the back and the side open? Interesting. But anyway. What now? She whispered, the question aimed as much at herself as the waves crashing ahead. Oh, brava. As if in response. A voice echoed her name. Okay, who else is here? She looked up and at the horizon. Perhaps a dozen meters offshore. Oh no. Oh no 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 no, what the fuck? No. No 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 no. You are kidding me. No. No 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 no. 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 Oh god, that fucking damn it. Look at this thing. These are human proportions. What the fuck is this thing? I've never seen anything creepier than this, and we have seen some pretty creepy designs. Oh, it's uncanny. Ugh. I don't want to look at it. It stood, floating, suspended inches above the water. Wait, ancestors can't float. What is this? Is this like a hallucination? Its long metallic black limbs were completely still, as it glided silently across the surface to the shoreline, like it were walking on water. Wait, it's pure black. All the ancestors had some white metal parts, sort of like the body. So this is like just a skeleton, huh? It spoke, but of course, its mouth hadn't moved at all. My. There was something strange about its voice. Somehow it was different than the last time. Oh, so now you're dropping that she's been talking to this thing, whether real or in her mind. Okay then. It sounded tender, soft, yet all the same firm and stern, much like a scolding parent. Oh no. Oh, I do not like this. Oh no. Oh, the fuck no. Nah. Whatever this fucking thing is, I'm not going to call it an ancestor. Look at that face mask. No, all the others were clearly created. But this one looks sculpted. It's like you made this face for yourself. No, I do not like this. No, nah. Look at you, dear. You've made quite a mess of things, haven't you? The girl looked at the tall metallic figure with swollen eyes. I did, she choked out. Everything you told me. Everything. And she put her head in her hands. It made it worse. You said it would fix everything. The girl continued to sob, unable to hold it back. Oh, God above. When Canary finds out what I've done, he'll never look at me again. It's your fault. A lithe metallic hand with long slender fingers extended forward, gently cupping the girl's chin. Oh, bravo. Oh, fuck. Oh, look at it. That hand has talons. Whatever this thing is, it was meant to hunt. Oh, no. Oh, fucking no. How quickly you forget. Haven't I given you everything you've ever needed? Told you things you shouldn't know? Recall that it was I who suggested you walk to the shed that night. Ah, so her finding Orem was no mere coincidence. I kind of wondered about that. Also, look at this thing more closely. This is working with some anti-grav kind of shit. All the other ancestors were actual robots with hydraulics and pneumatics and whatnot. Whatever this goddamn thing is, it just doesn't look like it belongs. Oh. Oh, fuck. Oh, god fucking damn it. Of course. There could have been more civilizations. There could have been more kinds of people who make their own kinds of ancestors. And if they are robots who don't need any kind of sustenance, of course there would be some that were roaming the world. Oh, god fucking damn it. I always thought the story was going to be confined to this one island. I really thought it was going to turn out to be another human that was down there before Orem. So there was someone else who already knew all the things he was discovering. Oh, I never thought about this. Ooh, such a twist. I have so many questions. Okay, continue. And delivered that boy to you as a tool. Why deliver? No, you couldn't have been the Terminal Authority. That was something else. All that I've ever done, I've done so that you would have what you needed to help yourself. Okay, bullshit. What do you want? This, my dear, is the result of your mistakes only. Of course, it was never your fault. The girl, wiping her eyes, looked up at the towering figure floating before her. Do you think, she began weakly. Also, how long has this been going on? That she is not afraid at all? Still assuming that this is real, and not just a weird projection into her mind. He'll never take me back into his life. The hand pulled away, and the figure shook its head slowly. No, my dear, it said. Your time with him is over. Don't you know what he's been telling others about you? What he said in private to Sachita, to Orem? Also, you have also been spying on everyone. Okay, what the fuck are you? Are you like a surveillance satellite? Made into a smaller form? Nah. Someone would have seen you, unless you also have cloaking abilities. In which case everyone is fucked. Let's not think about that. The girl shook her head angrily. No, she cried. I don't want to hear it. I don't want to hear any more of your rumors. The figure let out what sounded like a long sigh. You can't run from these deer, it said wistfully. You've become a burden to him, don't you see? He doesn't want you around anymore. The girl looked away, shaking her head. But she knew. She'd known that it was true. Yes, indeed. That boy, his future was so bright, don't you recall? Training to become a wound bearer. Such an important obligation. Think of the life he might have had. And think of the life he has now, dear. Okay, what's your game here? Why are you fucking with this poor girl specifically? He's stuck. He's not fully alive. Wait, those were Prava's thoughts in the flashback. Are you actually pulling stuff from her mind? Just telling her things so she could break? What's going on here? Are you like the opposite of a custodian? Trying to slowly dismantle humanity? The figure made a sweeping gesture with its long arm. And you, Prava. You are the physical embodiment of his loss. Every day when he looks at you, he thinks about that life he could have had. The girl was silent, arms wrapped ever tighter around her notebook. Well, no, I think that's the thing. Kanari doesn't actually dwell on that. He only gets reminded of that when he looks at Arem. Never on his own. So really, what are you playing at, weird thing? He won't ever be happy. Unless you're gone. The girl looked up. Gone? She whispered. What do you? The figure interrupted her. You know. You know, Prava. The girl's hand went to her arm instinctively, tracing the many scars, welts and bruises with her finger. You've always known how to do it. How to atone for your mistakes. The girl stared ahead into the waves. She was sure of it now. The voice it was using. It sounded just like her mother's voice. You know what you have to do to make him happy. Isn't that what you want? He can't smile, not while you're still in his life. The girl closed her eyes. She could almost see it. Those days she spent watching him running alongside Arem in the courtyard. His outstretched hand. And his smile. That boy, so full of hope for a future he would never have. Indigo light burst forth from the girl's hand. And suddenly she was holding a sharp piece of ceramic. She held it for a long moment, and at last she understood. This beach. That classroom where the longing girl sat. That rooftop where the boy had disappeared. That home in the rain, devoid of light. Yes. This beach, like so many other places, the girl knew she would never walk away from. So she took the ceramic knife and brought it to her throat. So goddamn tragic. Also, what the fuck was with that thing? I'm still about 50% convinced that it was still there. It seemed to be taking thoughts directly out of Prava's head. There was a commotion from the back of the crowd. I turned and saw a figure pushing his way to the front. My heart dropped. It was Canary. Seemingly unsure why the crowd had gathered. He looked at me puzzled, and all I could do was stare in return. But then he turned and saw what was lying on the sand. He took a step forward, and even despite the roar of the ocean waves, it felt as though all was left in a deafening quiet. Yeah. Canary's voice, too, was lost to the sea. But I saw. His mouth opened and closed. One word. Oh, you're gonna just leave us with that, huh? Oh, you're evil. Oh, you're so evil. Oh, goddammit. Whew. So, that was chapter 2. Oh, it's so goddamn good. And we ended with so many more questions than we started. And over the course of these 2 chapters, we barely got an answer to any of that. Well, I don't really remember my initial expectations for this story when I started it, but this has blown away any expectation I might have had. Ooh, it was so amazing. I really don't have the words to express my feelings properly. Above everything, I am confused. I have no idea where we would be going next, and I'm also extremely impressed at Rage for Dragons for writing such a twisty story. Ooh. Yeah, where can we even go? Like, obviously, someone would need to take sort of Brava's place to make sure Canary doesn't kill himself, because now he has every incentive to do that. And Aram, what even is he going to do? I don't know. I'm kind of expecting some development on the Sachi line. Maybe he could tell her stuff, since she's basically an outcast anyway. Why wouldn't she try to help? I don't know. So, this was A Song of Sunlight. At least, the amount that we have available for us. Now, all we have to do is wait until the release of Chapter 3 and see where the hell this story is going to go. Because I honestly have no idea. I don't know how long we're going to have to wait. I think every day is going to be worth it. Thank you very much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this story as much as I did. If you have any grand theories about the way this story is going to go, then let me know in the comments. I would love to read it. We shall meet again. Don't let despair take you in the meantime. Goodbye.